Howdy. So the way this will work is that I'm going to briefly show you some cool things that you can do with your badge, a few of which nearly got me sued, and we can move on from there. Oh, bloody hell. Is it still lost? Oh, the screws don't work. Is it coming back? Up or down? I can't see it. Yeah. No. All right. Is it up? Great. Okay. So I hate modern electronics. And then my resolution drops to 640 by 480. The way that the projector works is that there's actually an EEPROM inside that contains the preferred resolution. And you can change that. So you can actually booby trap a projector to only do 640 by 480. Can you see this now? Yes. Cool. Oh, wait. It's changing?
Actually, I think it's an anti-Mac chip in there.
I hate technology. I see blue now. Confirm. Great. Okay. Now you can see it.
The left side's cut off.
The left side is cut off. Okay. 5 pixels you can suffer. So this is my Hope badge, and I've installed the badge hacking kit. So on the back, I've got a USB port. If I plug my badge into the computer, we can do this nifty little trick. goodfet.nrf sniff-ob. That's the badge traffic. And any one of you who likes can actually sniff this and do the same. If I freeze this, and I scroll up a bit, do you see these records with the FFFF in it? Or I can grep for them individually. Okay, so these packets are coming from one of you who has reflashed the badge through JTAG and not bothered to include a serial number. And you'll notice that the fields sort of stand out. We disabled cryptography for this, so if you'd like to mess with the badge network or build things that respond to the badges, you can feel free to do that. I will be committing source code to the repository, which is on SourceForge. The project name is NHBadge. You can check it out by Subversion. All of the manufacturing files are already there, including the production files that were sent to the manufacturer. If you so like, you can also reprogram your badge to receive traffic in a standalone mode. If I could get some light up here. This is Rosie the robot. And her lights are blinking in response to badge traffic because there's actually a NextHope badge prototype on the rear that's wired to the LEDs. You can do any of this stuff you like. We'll be doing a badge hacking workshop tomorrow and Sunday. So have some fun. All right.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. Hold on, let me just go ahead a second. Go for it.
Travis' mother made that stained glass Rosie the robot.
Yes, I brought my mom to Hope. I have an awesome mom.
Wow. Great. Thanks, Travis. How's everyone doing today? Enjoying Hope? Yeah, we've had a record number of pre-sales. There's a lot of people here. This is a really, really good vibe. You guys rock. So this is a panel of a lot of people who have been fairly pivotal in the badge project. So I'm Aesthetics, this is Travis, and why don't we all just go through and introduce ourselves and say a little bit. I'm kind of turned into the pointy-haired boss of the whole thing, so I'm the one who, takes the blame when everything goes bad, and try to push everyone to do a great job, and that's really not that hard with this team, because I think we have one of the best teams I've ever worked with. So, let's see, want to start from that side?
Sure. Hi, I'm David. I was working directly with Travis, so I didn't have a huge amount of interaction with other people. For this conference, I created an alternate reality game, which happened at other conferences as well, and the first clue for it is in the badge. So I'm here basically if people know about it or if people have problems with it. Oh, next.
I'm Mitch, and I oversaw the manufacturing of the badge and kind of herded a few of our little kitties to get things in on time, and even still, we got things a few minutes before the conference started.
I'm Travis Goodspeed. I did the badge layout and design, and I ported the firmware from the OpenBeacon project, and also ported the GoodFed project to run on the badge.
Hey, I'm Rob. I did most of the data mining that's occurring behind the back and most of the integration. I should also take a moment to say that this project would not have happened for the significant efforts of dozens of people who are not sitting here.
This was definitely a major, major group collaboration.
Yeah, I'm Pharmacon, and I was basically running around finding those people that were the extra collaboration and roping them in, and just sort of being like, "Hey guys, this is really fun, right? You want to sit and fix this? Because we need it." So.
Hi all, I'm Echo. I'm pretty much writing games to try and make this con a little more friendly between all of us who don't really know each other and kind of are a little antisocial. So let's try and open things up and have a good time and meet new people.
Cool. Now, it's kind of hard to see, the lights are a bit dim, but how many people were at the last Hope? Cool. And how many of you have heard of Sputnik? Sweet. Okay. So this is really not just a group effort here, but it's also kind of an international effort. The other person who's here, or who could not be here, but he's definitely here in spirit, is Miloš Mariak, who created OpenBeacon, which is the company that did all the RFID readers, and we're very, very grateful to him. Now, a lot of people, they can't make it for various reasons, but Miloš in particular, he and his wife Britta just celebrated the birth of their first child. So let's just hear a round of applause for Miloš, and congratulations. Yeah. Without Miloš, none of this would have happened. Miloš has been involved in a number of projects with the CCC. Sputnik, I think he was also involved in Blinken Lights, and the Germans rock. I went over, and Mitch has also been over, I think a number of us, in Germany for the CCC conferences, and they've been very inspirational in helping us put together what we have now. So there's definitely a lot of history behind this, and we keep pulling in new people, and the more conferences we have like this, the more amazing new people we get to see. So it's pretty cool. It's really exciting to be able to be a part of this and to be able to share it with everyone. And should we announce the website? Or should we just go through?
I'll bring it up.
Okay.
Never mind.
So in that case, I'll just pass the conch over to you.
All right. Is this up? How do I make this into presentation mode?
It's your Travis.
Oh. I don't know.
Don't make me press buttons on your machine.
Okay. Oh. So, there you go. This might be automatically advancing. Just to warn you.
All right. Okay, so I'm just going to give you some context on some things we're doing. So just for context, 2 years ago, we also had this badge. It was one of the first conferences in Hackgrams that had an RFID badge that tracked everywhere you went. And we did some pretty cool things with it.
How did the last Hope differ from Sputnik?
Well, we concentrated more on the experience of it. We didn't just track the badge.
Right.
Okay,
go ahead.
It's okay. We got fairly far. We were able to give you recommendations, figure out which talks you went to, and actually knew quite a bit about you. But things have kind of changed in 2 years. Everyone kind of got into tracking you. Twitter, Foursquare, the iPhones have encouraged a lot of companies to care, where are you? And what are you doing? So in reacting to that, we wanted to really explore what can we know about where are you and what are you doing. So yeah, we have a new website. It does work. If you go to badge.hope.net.
You guys did an awesome job getting all that set up.
Yay. And just put in your code. I should make a note. If you guys threw out the wrappers for your code, that had the identification, go to the info desk and they'll help you get it. So in mimicking a lot of the trends of the social networking sites, this badge website is a social network. We have notices. You have profiles with avatars. You can add friends.
If you have
So, in the trend also, we have an open API, which several people have done an incredible job with and using. And so, just want to get to the more serious note. Yeah, we know where you are. Yeah, we're watching you. But we're very transparent about what's going on. You choose everything you share, and you may revoke anything that you have shared with us. But we are watching, and we are analyzing everything you do. So, I guess if I should say one thing, just keep your eyes open, and you'll be in for a surprise. All right.
Thanks, Rob. All right. Want to go up with this? No. Okay. Mitch, you want to go up and talk about something? Okay. We got a lot more.
I figured everyone had a little.
I'm not sure what to add at this point, but yeah, one of the things we talked about at the last Hope was to create a badge tracking system that would not only be really fun, but to have a fun way and an interesting way to get people to think about the information that is freely shared by all of us on these social network systems and loyalty cards, et cetera, et cetera. We use credit cards, we have phones, we have all these ways of having all of our information put out into hands that don't really care about us, but just to make a profit. We didn't really explore that too much for the last Hope, but we wanted to explore that in interesting ways that would hopefully creep people out a little bit, but within a comfort zone that wouldn't creep people out a lot. So that may or may not happen for this conference. My main job as well, besides for just interjecting stuff like that, is to get the badges manufactured with high quality and on time. We got them in on time.
Thank you, Mitch. And Travis.
Most of them work really well. So I guess I'll just put out now, if you have a badge or see anyone with a badge that the red light, forget the other colored lights for now, but the red light is either not blinking, it's just straight on or straight off, then your badge is in a weird state. And you have to take the battery out, put it in and out and in and out and in and out to smooth out some of the rough edges on a contact underneath it. And then it should work. It should.
I've also had luck with, is my mic on? I've also had luck using a flathead screwdriver. So just scrape off the lower pad, and then the battery will fit properly.
Yeah, so anyways, if we get the word out that you have to do this, then hopefully everyone who wants a working badge will have one.
Yeah, I just wanted to go again, bouncing off of what Mitch was saying about the privacy element. What we've done is we've created a technology, and the technology can be used for many purposes. And some of them are scary, and some of them are fun. So scary would be like, I don't know, anybody here use Facebook? Really, that's it? Nobody else uses Facebook? You just don't want to admit it? Right. And how many times has Facebook's privacy policy changed in the last few months? Exactly. Right, it's a prime number or something like that. So we're exploring what happens when you take technology and make it open. So one of the criticisms that people have made is, well, you're doing all this, it's scary. What if some government and corporation sees it and wants to take advantage of everyone? Well, our answer is that we've made it open to people so that they can explore it and they can learn from it and they can create their own, not only their ideas and their own innovations, but also understand how it works so that when they see somebody that's misusing technology, they can try to teach them to have the technology be used in a better way. Because the whole purpose of this is to try to draw people together. When we did this experiment at the Last Hope, the entire point was, well, you're coming to a conference, right? And it means you probably want to get out of your basement and go make new friends or see old friends. And we're trying to create a tool that will make that easier and a lot more fun. So that's where a lot of the social networking element comes into play. We can see a lot of dots dancing around on the screen, sometimes click on them and get more information, but adding in all the social networking elements that are going to be on the website that you guys can access, that's going to make this way, way, way more interesting. So you can either view this as playing with some cool technology, you can view this as a futuristic society, you can view this as anything you want. And if you have anything to add to it, please let us know. That's why we released the API as being open and public.
Should make a note about the API.
Speaking of the API, if you keep an eye on amd.hope.net, there's going to be updates all through the weekend. We have example code coming in from various people, both that was written before, and a lot of it's actually being written literally while we're at this talk. So if you want to mess around, you want to use some examples, there's some examples in Python, there's some examples in Ruby. If you want to write some examples in another language, feel free to find one of us and say, hey, I want to chip in, and we'll add you to the repository, and then you can, add some more access to this and make it easier for people who know different languages to dig into the data, pull things out of the API, and just see what kind of cool stuff is buried in there.
Yeah, tangentially, there are two other people who have contributed this who I think, is Andrew Fresh here by chance? Okay, I don't see hands up in the audience or anything. So there are two people that also contributed a lot who may or may not be here. One of them is Michael Lee and the other is Andrew Fresh. They have done a lot of work on the mobile development side, which we've been trying to integrate. How many of you have smartphones? Androids and iPhones and stuff like that? If you guys saw any of the news we've been putting out over the last week or so, you can actually download an application for your phone and use it to interact with the conference. And the best part of all this was we released the Android app, right? So I was... What? It works great. Wow, that's a first. Awesome. It should. Yes. Mm-hmm. And just to show an element of how beautiful the community spirit is, I was just a couple days ago trying to show off the Android app because I thought it was really cool. I wanted to show it to a friend of mine, so I logged into the marketplace. And I was looking for the next Hope app, right? And I found another one. Somebody actually released an unofficial third-party app for us, and they called it the unofficial Hope app. And they didn't bother to tell anyone. I had to find it by going to the marketplace.
What did it do?
It does a lot of the same stuff, but it has a really pretty layout. It's a little bit different. So that one's called Yet Another Hope app, I think. But yeah, so there are many, many ways that you can contribute and work on this project, even at the conference, because one of my favorite pastimes at a con is meeting somebody new and then spending the rest of the time working on some crazy project with them. And maybe you're up for 40 hours straight and you have a lot of Red Bull or Club Mate, but it's well worth it, and that's why I come to Hope. It's a lot of fun. So, yeah. So one thing we haven't really covered yet is some of the technical sides of it. Besides the badge, we have software side stuff. Do you want to talk about that at all? Like the database and all that stuff?
Fundamentally, it's just a three-part system. There's an aggregator that is collecting data from the readers, which then goes into a central NoSQL storage, and then we have a web front end that pulls from it. This is largely it. Any behaviors you do on the website, many of them, all of them, are tracked, analyzed, recorded, and also placed into the NoSQL repository. I did want to mention one more thing, which was you actually can opt in whether you want your data in the public API feed, and you could also opt in or opt out of whether you want your data to be publicly released after the conference. This is, again, in the theme of you decide what happens to your data. It is your data, not ours. It's your code.
Any corporate website.
Mm-hmm. Actually, interestingly enough, if you go to dartmouth.edu, there's a project there called Crawdad, which is metadata from geospatial data. And the last Hope actually scrubbed a bunch of data and released a simplified data set to Crawdad. So you can also even go back 2 years and then look through all of that information as well. It's part of basically giving back to the community and making this available as a research surface or substance.
Yeah, and I'll just put out there that now that the website is working, we encourage you to give up as much of your personal information on that website as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. The more you give up, the more fun it's going to be for everyone, especially us.
Don't forget them. They get to see the data too.
Oh, yeah. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on with that. Before I forget, there's just a couple of groups and people that I wanted to thank. Let's see. How many different parts do we have? So we have the people who are working on the badges, which was basically you guys. Is there anybody you want to thank in addition to yourselves for the badges?
No, will suffice.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and we use the same manufacturer that I use for TV Be Gone, and he did a lot of work for free, basically. He didn't make any money on these badges.
Actually, I think there is one person we should say thank you to, and that's Texas Instruments.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, there's a valid reason.
So, as this was beginning, I really wanted to add USB support to the badges such that they could packet sniff and all of that fun stuff, but the Texas Instruments chips that I wanted for that were rather expensive. They donated $25,000 worth of chips, which is actually more than the entire production run cost. So a hand for TI.
So yeah, the chips are quite advanced. Do you want to talk for a moment about what you can actually do with the chips after the conference?
Yeah, so the badge itself has, I think it's 112 kilobytes of flash memory. The firmware is built in C. It's, this,
Maybe it doesn't.
that's pretty taut. I'm just going to stand up. All right, so is this one on? Yes, okay. So the firmware is written in C. It's compiled with a fork of the GNU C compiler. To build it and install it, you type make install, which I think is a very innovative feature. You don't have to install an IDE, load up the GUI, and all of that garbage. Pre-built versions of GCC, which you can just plop down in your /opt directory, are available on my server and linked from the README files. Once you're writing new code on it, you just have access to the radio through an SPI serial port. And then any software or device that you want to tie in, you just have to write code for. This is a Turning Point clicker. It's used for classroom and audience response systems. So if we were using this here, every one of you would have a clicker, and I would ask you to say vote. Press 1 if you want me to shut up, and 2 if you'd like me to go into more technical detail. As you would press it, it would be broadcast to the stage. You can packet sniff these using the Next Hope badge. You can build devices such as the Rosie robot, which respond to radio signals from other badges. So if you wind up with 2 badges, one of which has been hacked, you can then, to make your coffee maker start as you walk into your living room, or all sorts of fun stuff like that at home after the conference has ended. All with free and open toolkit, and the full source code for the project is online. So.
Are there buttons on the badge or anything?
Yeah, so it's a bit confusing to use. If someone could hand me a badge. All right, Mitch wins. So you'll notice that the red light is blinking. Might be a bit difficult to see from back there. If you touch the crystal with one finger, and with the other finger and thumb, you touch the middle of the badge, then the green light will come on. And if you do the right of the badge, then the blue light will come on. And at the far left, the red light will remain on. These badge presses are also broadcast along with your serial number to the servers, and they can be queried through the network. It is part of the data set, is it not? Yeah. Yes. So if you want to, I don't know, say touch your badge at the instant that something interesting happens, you can later look back through the data set and see when the button switches over. As another nice little feature, the manufacturing tolerances of these chips are stored in their own flash memory. And these are broadcast with every single packet. So by taking the packet log after this conference has ended, I will know the exact manufacturing tolerances of 1,800 MSP430 microcontrollers out of 2 batches. And in doing this, I can then figure out how far they vary and all sorts of other fun and useful stuff.
Nice little cluster analysis.
Yeah. And I think that this is actually by far the best development kit for the MSP430, because everything's in place and there's an open tool chain and everything. So have some fun with it and use the MSP430 in your own product designs. Yes?
Can you tell us a little bit about the different pin pads that are exposed?
Yes. Let me pull up the design if you don't mind. That'll make this a lot easier to go. So the the path that I'm in right now is my screen showing? Okay, cool. So this actually is the Subversion repository that you can grab from the server yourself. If I go into the hardware directory, there are a couple of older ones that weren't, they were only manufactured as prototypes, but it's the NHB 12 or 12B that is the badge you have. And we can open the schematic. It is an EagleCAD file. You don't need any special licenses or anything. The freeware version will suffice. It's Eagle. Of course, it's shrinking what I want to show. So this is the badge. If we zoom in a bit, here you have the JTAG connector. And this is what the badges are programmed by during production. A programmer is placed into it, then a Windows batch script calls a Pi2exe executable, which reflashes the badge with new software, and then also with a test case. So I verify on every single badge that the radio is receiving traffic, and that ensures that I have no analog problems as far as how the radio is wired. Moving over here, we have the ICE pads. This is a breakout of the SPI port, which connects to the radio. If you tap this, you can actually watch the traffic going back and forth between the microcontroller and the radio. And on other boards, you might want to tap this to figure out which channel or packet length or MAC address is being used. We'll be doing that to an ANT microcontroller demo board in the Sunday workshop to determine the low levels of the ANT networking protocol, which is used by sports watches and heart rate monitors and things like that. If anyone here is from a company that might be offended by this, please buy me a beer. Up here we have, on the right, we have the BSL connector. I don't know whether or not this will work because I've never tried it, but this should work with an FTDI cable if you send some special flags to the bootloader, and that might be a lot easier than soldering the badge hacking kit. As I zoom out, and everything in red here is on the top side of the board, and everything in blue is on the bottom. You might want to look at your own badge as I'm going through this. This here out at the left, and then the two-road chip that's on the bottom, which are not populated on your badges, are for a USB port. That's how I run the packet sniffing code, and it also makes software development a lot easier because you can reflash the board without a JTAG programmer. The soldering of this is difficult, but there are kits available, and if you are patient and you do not use your soldering iron as a chisel, you can get it working. Yeah,
this is not,
it's not for beginners.
It's not for beginners.
It is a lot of fun, though, and there's a good sense of accomplishment if and when you get it working. Out here at the right, there's a surface mount. There's a surface trace antenna. This is not perfectly tuned, but it's close enough that packets get in and out. And then down at the bottom, these 8 GPIO pads can be reprogrammed to do anything you like. So if you're trying to build an add-on module to your board, say you want to add a second radio to it, or you want to make it into a TV Begon, or anything else you can imagine, you can just wire this out to any other board and then write C code that runs inside of the microcontroller and talks to it. Or you can patch the firmware to behave slightly differently to use those I/O ports. When I built the Rosie robot, I just took the 7 and 8 pins out here on the right, and I wired them up to the LED eyes, and then ran the other side of the LEDs to ground, put a series resistor in between, and I ran a self-test routine that receives radio traffic. And then instead of blinking just the internal LEDs, I had it also blink the eyes. This is port 3 on the MSP430, but you can find that in the schematics. Any other questions? All right. In my talk tomorrow on building and breaking the Hope badge, I'll be going into absurd technical detail on how this works and how I've reverse engineered similar devices. So, all right, thank you.
This isn't anything new. I sent a message about this before the conference started, but if you have done something interesting with the API, we do want to know about it, and do email amd@hope.net with a link to what you've done, and we're going to gather up near the conference and put up a little gallery of all the cool things people have done. So we really do want to see how you use this data.
And I think we might be having some kind of opportunity through the conference we can show off. If you have a visual that you've created and you brought it to the conference, you should show it off and like get as many people to see it and enjoy it as possible. That's the entire point of creating it. So, let's see. Somebody else, I had mentioned Milosh and Britta Mariak before. I just wanted to mention their company name is openbeacon.org. And they have been monumentally helpful in getting all this work. And basically without them and without Travis and everyone else, we would not have any hardware at all. They have been really, really generous in working with us. And once again, the openbeacon.org. Past that, we've got a lot of people that are working on some crazy stuff on the software side. So what is it? It's based on Cassandra and Django, I think?
Yes, it is.
What exactly is Cassandra? How does that differ from, say, SQL or Oracle?
It's basically just another version, or rather, it's another way of doing a memcache. So it's a nice distributed key value store. We use it because we get thousands of messages a second, and we want to store all of them.
Right, and I think a lot of, it's very good for redundancy. It's very good for systems that need to be acting very quickly. I think Twitter's using stuff like that. I could be wrong.
And Dig and Reddit and all those other web companies.
So what would you say are some of the advantages of using Cassandra?
I'm not trying to promote Cassandra.
Okay, well, I didn't mean to promote it. I'm just, I'm really excited with how this stuff has been turning out.
Yeah,
cool. Does anybody in the audience have questions for us at all? Okay, right there.
So you mentioned the red LED indicates the connectivity or the broadcasting at least. What can you say about the other colors? I've seen a few.
Repeat the question too.
Yeah. Okay, so the question was, what do the LEDs do as far as the colors and their meaning? The red LED blinks to indicate that a packet is being broadcast, or actually a group of 4 packets, each 4 being sent in a row. The green and blue LEDs are indicative of the touch sensor. So if you touch the crystal with one hand and then put your finger above and below the board along that 8-pin GPIO port here at the bottom, it will light the others, and it will also send that information out to the server. Occasionally, if your badge gets dirty, these can stick, so it goes. But that's what they're for.
So it's just for fun?
Yes, just for fun.
You mentioned the API. Can you give a quick overview of how to access it and what you can do with it?
Does this computer have internet, or is that dangerous?
No, do not connect that.
All right. Okay. So it's all right. So you can access the API by going to the https api.hope.net. This will bring you to the documentation for the API, and everything will be there. Not all the features actually exist. You can only particularly pull just one section that you want of the API. There's no cross-matching, as it might indicate in the documentation, but it does follow the documentation. You may, so what you may pull is, you may pull the locations, you may pull informations on the users, you may pull informations on the talks, and you may pull information on the speakers. And of course, you can combine this information to find out which users like which speakers, and which locations do speakers like. So,
yeah, you can also, the button data is also being stored. So if you want to go in and you want to play a game where, like, you know, if you want to write some code where you can press your buttons and you know, people in an area can play capture the flag. You know, if you're in an area, everybody hits the number 2 button at the same time. It'll change colors, things like that. Those games are totally available to write, and that's actually what a lot of us are going to be working on over the weekend, is kind of doing things live on the spot with what data we have and trying to make up some games, some interactions, things like that as the conference goes along.
Are you doing anything with the Last Hope badges?
listen to the stream. Watch the stream. You'll see interesting things.
If I might add to that, you can also harvest the components from a Last Hope badge to build a Next Hope one. If you can get a blank badge, I'll give you the parts. But this is only if you are a god at soldering.
Yeah, Travis, can I get my badge back? My Last Hope badge?
I'll give you the pieces.
I should also add, if you are interested in linking your Last Hope badge to your current badge so that we could integrate some of that Last Hope information, find me and I'll do that for you.
Question. How about movement inside of the room versus movement from room to room? What generates a record in your secret database?
It is strictly based on whether a reader detects you. Different rooms are populated with readers with different density. Most of the talk rooms aren't nearly as well populated as the mezzanine, partly because you guys are sitting down. You're not really moving, and it's much easier to extract which talks you attended when there's less noise in there. At the same time, remember the readers do have a range of 60 feet, so there's a certain particular range for what they pick up. Accuracy varies in I would say about the 10-15 feet area. So take the readings with that particular error tolerance.
All right, Mitch, this is for you. Just put your ears on here. The problem that you mentioned about the battery in and out, okay? This is my third badge. They said they won't give me another one if I break this one, okay? I do not deny that resin could have built up on the contacts. However, I believe another problem exists. And I should have prefaced this by saying when something doesn't work, it interests me more than when it does work, okay? Why? And I think it might be an overheating problem, but you know, you're the god, so I'm just going to shut up. And this guy, or in the front, had his hand up, and there are microphones here, so I mean, I feel bad talking over him, so I apologize.
Well, everyone can line up, but yeah, it's actually a manufacturing problem. They cooled down that pad too quickly, so it has a rough surface.
Yeah, what I was going to bring out is one simple point. The random changes on the lights are being caused primarily by, believe it or not, perspiration on your clothes, because the rooms are warm down there, your shirt gets very slightly damp, and it'll affect the pads. That's where you get these random changes. Up here it's cooler, what happens less. Even if I press on this, well, the minute it just change pressing on the shirt, for example. And this is almost dry. You'll walk out the funky things if your shirt's less than bone dry. And that's why you're seeing random changes on those other lights.
Yeah, it's just picking up on resistance, and sweat has salts in it. So yeah, he was just saying that some of the lights might light up because of sweat. It's touching your clothing, there's sweat on your clothing. So that's
these button fluctuations can be picked up, of course, and perhaps you can extract which of you are nervous.
I'll just point out that it is now under total record that all of you have been hanging out with known hackers.
Okay. Did you want to ask your question first, or shall I go?
You can go.
All right. I know that you guys want people to write applications using your API and such, but I know that you guys have mentioned several times today blips on the map. And I know that looking at the OpenBeacon and Sputnik websites for a couple of years now, I've seen that they have maps where people walk around a room and you can kind of track them. Do you guys have a website that has a map of the rooms with blips walking around? Because if you do, I haven't found it yet.
There was one last time.
Yeah, there was last time.
There was last time.
What?
There was last time.
Yeah. It'll be there. We haven't updated the page yet.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah. It'll be getting put up in about an hour.
Okay. And where should we look for that at? On the AMD dot or the badge dot? Or?
Yeah, look for that on amd.hope.net, and we'll put up a link that links to it. We're also going to pull a plasma screen up and set it up in one of the rooms that'll have that same visualization on it.
Good.
Very similar to what we had at the last Hope.
And maybe we can click on a badge or something and see the number, and we can find some particular person, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good. I look forward to that.
There also may be a flying feature if it works right. So. There's more people than speakers.
So, next question.
All right.
Oh, he commented that the password verification didn't seem to be working too well on the website.
The ordering of the code and the badge ID is somewhat counterintuitive. If you type in code first and then badge ID, I did this wrong 3 times.
So another comment about the user interface of the website.
Next question.
Okay. First of all, can you you mentioned that there are badge hacking workshops. Can you just say when exactly, what should one bring? Does one need to bring their own soldering iron or?
Okay. So the question, oh, never mind, he has a mic, so you know the question. This is crazy. I can't see any of you, but I can see the red lights blinking. And occasionally a blue one when someone's nervous. So the badge hacking workshops will be going on in the Hardware Hacking Village. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah. The Hackerspace Village, the center of which is the hardware hacking area.
Okay. So within the hardware hacking area, show up around 1 p.m. tomorrow, and I'll be there to help assemble and that sort of stuff. For a basic workshop, and this is just enough to get the badge assembled and have it working in either Windows or Unix. The following day, on Sunday, there will be an advanced badge hacking workshop which will involve such things as taking the firmware apart or hacking similar devices to the badges which are not quite the badges. If you'd like to learn how to take products apart, if you would like to learn how to reverse engineer the protocols involved on these sorts of devices, that will be covered in the advanced workshop. Admission is closed, the workshop is already full, but if you do something to impress me, I will push you in anyways.
For which one, the Saturday or Sunday?
For Sunday.
That was the impression these things were pretty much open to all. I didn't think there was a restriction on these things.
I can't handle 100 people in a workshop. I can handle 10, and maybe 15, but they're... I'm open to bribes, but seeing as how I haven't gotten my beer yet, I'm hesitant to believe that they would come.
Yeah, hardware hack or badge hacking kits are available either through me if you find me or Jimmy down at the hardware hacking area in the Hackerspace Village, or Lady Ada at Adafruit.
Yes.
I was also wondering just one other thing. Has anyone yet written, to your knowledge, any kind of fake badge signal generators?
Not yet, but if they would like to, the code is there, and it accidentally happens when people rebuild the firmware from scratch. The way in which the firmware works is that the serial number is flashed first, and then following the serial number, the firmware is written on top of it. If the serial number is not written, it defaults to -1 or all Fs, and I've seen some F badges walking around. Maybe I'll build a directional tracker for you guys, but good going.
And we'll light up your badge blue.
Yes. Next question.
When placing the OpenBeacon receivers, did you put them all in public areas, or are there some in the more inaccessible areas of the building, like the maintenance tunnels?
There's one in every bedroom of the hotel. Conference hookups will be posted on a poster on Sunday.
Yeah, it's our version of the Wallace sheet.
Yeah.
When thinking about the readers, you have to think beyond the walls.
Cool. Next question.
Yes, I have a question. How could you connect me? I'm interested in working on the AMD project. I have absolutely no clue at this time, but I have flown all the way from California to to learn about this and to get my hands dirty. How could you connect me to someone who will get me started and get me engaged and make my hours productive in this workshop?
Go down to the AMD area and say you want to help.
Okay, where is that?
Where is it?
Well, you're talking about hardware or software or both? What?
Both. I mean anything.
Anything? Yeah, so where are you guys hanging out for the software? The hardware is all happening in the hardware hacking area at the Hackerspace Village on the mezzanine. And me and Jimmy and many, many other people are really good at teaching people soldering. It's really easy. Anyone can learn, and everyone, I've taught well over 10,000 people, and little kids, big kids, whatever, it doesn't matter. So if you're into it, you can do it. The badge hacking kit is definitely not for total beginners, but if you're comfortable with soldering already, you can definitely do it. So come down there, and we'll show you whatever you want to learn.
Cool.
If you're interested in doing any software development, we're downstairs by the knock. Just ask for AMD. They're going to send you to me. So just come on by and see what you can do.
Yeah, anyone else who wants to help out is definitely encouraged. We love community collaboration. So.
Yeah, definitely. Anyone who wants to help teach people soldering or help out down at the hardware hacking area, totally open. It's totally anarchy, and we embrace it.
Next question.
Hi, I had two questions. The first one is, how far away can you guys read our information? Like, if we leave the building, or is it just within the building?
It can be read whenever you are within 60 feet of a reader, and any badge can be retooled to become a reader. So you won't be held in the database outside of the building, but if I were at a coffee shop running the software and you walked by, I would see that.
Okay.
Or if you happen to also register, say, your Twitter name as your username or things like that, maybe some data might accidentally pulled from Twitter that associates you with venues you're visiting, things like that. There's a lot of people that use the same handles everywhere or use your name everywhere. So, if you find, that you've set up authentication and are going out and you've clicked yes on those, autofill on this website and automatically fetch data for me, we're hopefully going to be pulling data from other sources if you allow us.
Also, there's some delightful research by a neighbor named Nick DiPetrillo, who might be in this audience. And basically, it's possible to do the same thing that we're doing through OpenBeacon and AMD, except through the cellular phone network. This can be used on any GSM phone worldwide, without the consent or knowledge of the person being watched. So turn your cell phone off, too, if you really don't want to get tracked.
And then I also wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the present and future use of RFID, such as in driver's license, Easy Pass, passport, products that we buy, and inevitably probably human beings.
RFID, don't get us started.
I'd like to answer this one. I am a man, not a number. Wait, I am 454-487-32985. USA. A passive RFID tag is just a barcode, and it can be copied just like a barcode. There are too many barcodes in our society, but it's not terribly different that it works through a radio.
Yeah, normally they can be read when you hold your passport up to the passport RFID reader, but it's been shown that people can read these numbers from pretty long distances away. But I don't know if we really have time to get into RFID and its discontents here.
But I think it is important to point out that everything here is opt-in. If you don't want to participate at all, just take the battery out of your badge. You don't have to use the website at all if you're super, super paranoid. It's lots of fun to do it, though.
Or swap badges with someone who does want to be tracked.
Next question.
Well, speaking of GSM, I was actually wondering if these blimps were going to start looking for radio signals. I don't know if you're familiar with that art project, but I thought that was cool. I was actually wondering about the serial number. I saw in the badge hacking kit that it said the NHB12 was the best serial number to have. Is that?
So the firmware as presently published on the website is for hacked badges is for the NHB12 proper, which is the version that I used and the version that the prototypes were. The NHB12B is now working, and I can give you a firmware image if you find me directly. So just find me and I'll get you the firmware for either badge.
This is my fault.
Yes, this is his fault. If you actually reverse engineer the 12B, things are a little bit different.
Okay, I've got a question on troubleshooting. I got a badge that will start initially, run for about 15 seconds, and die.
Yes, that's the battery problem. There's a film of something over the positive battery terminal. If you take a soldering iron into the badge and you sort of burn it off by scraping the soldering iron back and forth, then it will get a solid connection and work. Or you can rough it up with either a flathead screwdriver or by inserting and removing your battery 5
Yeah, I've
times.
already tried inserting and removing the
down
battery a
and-
number of times, but maybe I'll have to try the resolder trick.
Yeah, we can help you too
Okay.
if you like. Yeah.
Next question. Great.
Cool. Anyone else have anything to add?
I'd like to add something.
Okay, hold on.
So I've been working on some games for you guys to play. Hopefully we're going to get them out soon and it's going to be a lot of fun. I just wanted to note that when I first started in this community of ours, it was a ton of fun. I had so many friends, and I'd come out to conferences and I'd see so many old faces, and this is a really good turnout. It's amazing to see so many people that I haven't seen in a long time. And what I'd like to note is that the games are there for you to use them and to meet new people. We're going to know who you're hanging out with, more often than not. It's the truth. We're going to hopefully know where you guys come from, where you guys are hanging out, and who you're hanging out with. And you're all going to find out a lot of fun stuff about everybody here, but what I'd like to note is that you guys should be meeting new people, and that's what these games are going to do for you guys. Please don't try to do anything malicious. I haven't spent hours hardening everything. They're not there to be hacked. They're there for you guys to meet new people and have a lot of fun, and that's what conferences should be. Things have gotten a little turbulent the last couple of years, at least in the New York City area, and we're hoping to bring that all back and have a really good time. So, do your part, have fun, and, don't be a jerk, is what I'd like to add.
1 minute, last question. If I can add a question myself. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Are the games supposed to be active now or later sometime?
Pardon?
Are the games supposed to be active now or sometime later?
They're going to be up later today.
Oh, okay.
And we'll be making updates on the website, so
So same thing for the stats, I guess.
Yeah, if you're following
Alright.
the Twitter, it'll be up there, you'll know.
All right.
The thing I was about to ask that someone I'm sure is thinking is, if someone hasn't registered yet, and they do register at some point in the next couple of hours, will all the previous information so far today be logged and accessible?
All the tracking data, I believe, has been logged.
Okay. Okay. So if they have met up with people, they'll be able to find that to the data
Yep,
set.
right.
Sure.
That's time, gotta boot you off, sorry.
All right.
All right, cool. All right, see ya. I just want to say, a lot of people on the team have been up for many, many days straight. So, yeah, this team rocks. Yeah, thank you all for letting us do this.